This is Lada. Welcome to Multidimensional Video Marathon, happening simultaneously on Lada channel and Timeless and Pulse Readings channel. Thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting. If you're new, subscribe so not to miss many surprises coming your way. Hello, dear friends, and this episode of Multidimensional Healing and Activation program is titled For Love and Money, What Chakras Are Responsible for Your Fame and Fortune. And Oz came up with some very good questions for me, and we decided to record them along with my answers before we actually forget these brilliant insights that came to him. Go ahead, Oz.
Yes, I was remarking about presidents, past, present, and future, and especially Trump and President Clinton, how they have huge sex chakras, which is the second chakra.
Kennedy.
And Kennedy, right. And how influential.
Czars and kings of the past, they were very promiscuous.
Right, and I wonder if that has anything to do with their popularity, their charisma, and also the connection with the people, because
well, with their fortunes in general, and by fortune we mean financial gain, of course. I mean, they're all
everything.
Rich people.
Power and success.
Power in all regards, including power in regards to money. Also, a lot of financiers, people on Wall Street. I worked on Wall Street. I know how that works. A lot of these Wall Street, heads and hands, let's just say, they were very sexually oriented in many regards, and they slept around and whatnot. And I mean males primarily. Women were those who were really power-hungry women. They were more for power. They just tried to advance their careers and stuff.
Yes.
So in regards to this, we were discussing what chakras, in fact, are responsible. And we are recording this in our garden, so if you are hearing extraneous noises, then you will know what those are about. However, I think this is such an important information to tell you about, to talk to you about, and it's also fun information. So what chakras do you think are responsible? What was your first guess?
Well, I said base chakra.
Yeah,
power.
He said base chakra, and I reminded him that base chakra is the root chakra, is the first chakra. That's the chakra that connects you to Mother Earth. So from this perspective, yes, there is a little bit of that. And I will tell you, by the end of this episode, I will tell you my conclusion. What I will do, I will quantify, I will tell you percentages involved with each chakra I will mention here. So what we have here is first chakra. Yes, standing, having roots in the ground, having roots in Mother Earth, that's very important. But it is only important to a degree, because your connection to Earth actually stabilizes you, number one. What it also does, it gives you confidence to go after your things and understanding how to get things in 3D on Mother Earth. So all this will be helpful, of course, but it does not resolve a lot of issues, a lot of questions. So what are the questions? How charisma, or this drive, this aggressive in the negative, assertive, and very confident drive to go after what you want. This is second chakra, my friends. This is what we call sacral chakra, and I call it the sweetness of life chakra. So this is where you go after pleasure. Remember this old movie, I believe there was, For Love and Money. Okay, this is the description of your second chakra. Okay, for love and money. For the chakras, there are base chakras, which is first, second, and third, lower chakras, in other words. All this applies to all three of them, but primarily to the second chakra. Sweetness of life, that's where you get pleasure. That's where you nurture your inner child. So sexual adventures, for example, that would be your inner child. Money also is like candy. It's like sort of candy for certain people. Or collecting a lot of cars, that's like...
So it's desire plays a huge role in this.
Yes, desire and passion for life.
Right, passion. Because passion is creative, on a positive sense.
Yes. So a lot of creativity, but only in the earthly sense, not in the high spiritual sense. For example, not writing, not what I do.
Right.
Sure, there is a certain amount of second chakra involved in the assertiveness. You've got to be assertive, and I have to have that confidence of sorts, right? When my confidence oftentimes tends to be, again, settled in higher chakras, heart chakra and above, and so you perceive me differently. You know immediately whose second chakra is like oversized, is humongous, okay? And you gave examples already.
Well, especially your personal experience with Castro, Fidel Castro. of
Fidel
Cuba.
Castro, exactly. Oh, huge second chakra. But here we're progressing to the third chakra. And I will tell you that third chakra, which is the power center or the solar plexus chakra, plays a big role as well. Not as big as the second chakra. And that's your personal power. That's how you perceive how well you sit in your personal power. In the tarot deck, there is a card called the Emperor. So the Emperor is that Sun King card, basically, the Sun Emperor. Okay, this solar plexus is associated with the sun, and sun is associated with male energy and with personal power. How well you sit in your personal power. For example, I can tell you from my perspective, my solar plexus chakra, third chakra, is pretty good. And this is what allows me to sit in my personal power and express myself. It wasn't always the case. I had to work through a lot of issues and convince myself that I had to go public with all my knowledge because I was not keen on any sort of conflict. So solar plexus chakra, which is empowered, which is what I did through a series of healing, learning, exercises, everything.
What
And
about working on Wall Street?
working on Wall Street helped a lot to develop both my second and third chakras. Because that was a very gruesome training, very grueling and very unpleasant training, life training, I should say, for me. But it taught me things, how to withstand pressure, how to work really, really, really hard day and night, how to even deal with confrontation, which me, myself, as a cosmic soul, as a part incarnated angel, for me that's like really horrible. I want to run away from confrontation naturally. So this actually allows you to stand your ground. And what is responsible for this are three lower chakras: first, second, and third. But standing your ground, being your power, that is third chakra. Meanwhile, assertiveness, even aggressiveness if necessary, and confidence to go after what you want, that's second chakra. It's very egotistic chakra, incidentally, super egotistic.
It's actually
to go,
necessary.
what I want.
Right.
But being incarnated in this body, in this lifetime on planet Earth, you actually need a little bit of that. We all need it. Those who are completely... Well, there are no
Passive.
people, in fact, who don't...
Even monks express some kind of energy.
Yeah, there are no such people who do not have that. But anybody, I can assure you, anybody who is famous enough, well known enough, who has something that they accomplished, that they can demonstrate. Okay, I wrote books, I did these, I don't know, whatever that is, shows if I'm an artist or actor, or I did music, or I did this, and people follow me. I'm an influencer of any sort, any type of influencer. They have well-developed second chakra, well enough developed, guaranteed, okay? At least it calibrates above 200 something. Some have oversized second chakras. So charisma also depends on that. There is charisma that comes from other chakras as well, and charisma is shared between several chakras, including heart chakra. There is heart chakra charisma, fifth chakra charisma. All this blends together. It depends on what you do and how you express yourselves and how you approach this whole system of life, this whole tapestry of what you're creating here. Okay, but creativity starts, that base creativity, earth-based creativity, in second chakra. Like, for example, feng shui, that's another thing that taught me to respect lower chakras. Feng shui being, in fact, a multidimensional discipline, but misunderstood in the West completely, and understood incorrectly today from this like very layman's perspective, improperly in the East as well.
Superficially?
Like superficially and usuriously, like give me, what can I get from it? But it is a multidimensional, a very spiritual practice if you practice it correctly, but the one that harmonizes lower chakras and upper chakras, planet Earth and cosmos, you and planet Earth, all that, okay, inner and outer, is supposed to harmonize. But well, of course, if it's practiced from lower energy, well, you will only get lower chakra benefit from it. And so it does belong with first and second chakra. Base chakra, which is stability on the planet Earth, how well you actually see yourself here, how well you're settled here. And in addition to that, it is also the second chakra, Okay, power center also applies here. So higher chakras are not involved if you are perceiving feng shui as, from a user's point of view. Same with anything else. You can perceive everything from a multidimensional, the wholeness point of view, where you take care of all of your chakras, your entire energy body, and you can, in fact, you can perceive it from either higher chakra point of view only, and that denies the experiences of the lower chakras, which are equally necessary if you, in fact, are incarnated and living this life. Or you can perceive it strictly from this like earthbound lower chakra point of view, and then, of course, you're missing out on the entire cosmos, for lack of a better word. So, again, I want to quantify. I can actually give you percentages. I calibrated percentages distribute as what proportions, and here they are. Second chakra, sacral chakra, 60%, about 60%.
Wow.
Okay. Third chakra, which is the solar plexus chakra, power center, 30%, and base chakra or the root chakra, Muladhara, is 10%. These are percentages, okay? So keep that in mind. When we are talking, also, of course, if somebody might say, well, but I have like a wonderful, say, sex drive, and I'm fine with my inner child and all that, but I'm not rich. How come I'm not rich? Well, that may have nothing to do with your chakras and has to do with your soul contract in this lifetime, or misunderstood soul contract. It could be karmic from past lifetimes when you are preserving that contract from some other lifetime where you, for example, vowed power to be poor, you know. You took a vow of poverty, for example. Somebody else might have taken a vow of celibacy in the past lifetime, being a monk, for example, or a nun. And so they are continuing to live out that without even knowing they're living it out. And they wonder then why, in fact, I am not either doing better financially, or why, in fact, I am all alone and I cannot meet anybody. And we discussed how to clear that karma, and that's at least the first step. And you can always schedule a consultation. You know, those who have scheduled consultations with me will attest that I help them tremendously. And there are many issues that can be discussed throughout any consultation, including these issues. And so what happens here is that you can go back to that post with my meditation/affirmation, how to release past karma. That was several weeks ago that I posted it for you. It's right here on Patreon. Go back and reaffirm that and do those meditations daily for as long as necessary, in fact. And you can add your own words to that, your own issue maybe that you need to clear that is more specific to you. But I designed that affirmation specifically as a broad range, all spectrum affirmation for past life, clearing past life karma, clearing the debris that you are retaining that you don't need in this lifetime anymore, and to clear out anything from this lifetime as well. So that's a very well-rounded affirmation that just go back to it, and even if you rephrase it, just keep the foundation of that affirmation as is, because it is designed as a broad spectrum healing technique.
Excellent information. Also, I'd like to ask, for worldly, earthly success, is it necessary to have all three lower chakras balanced and working optimally?
It really depends on what people are after. There are very successful people who are in fact monks or nuns, and I will give you two very good examples. Pema Chodron, who is a nun, Tibetan nun, Buddhist, and Thich Nhat Hanh, exactly, thank you. So Thich Nhat Hanh, again, also a Buddhist monk from Vietnam. They are very successful in their own ways. Also there is Eckhart Tolle. That's another example of a spiritual teacher who is quite successful, very well known. And these people do not, they really, let's just say, underemphasize their lower chakras. But they do have good, solid power chakra, which is the third chakra.
Right, they connect.
And their charisma,
they're connectors.
you have to have at least third chakra working well. okay, which already connects very closely to the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. And what is heart chakra? Heart chakra is your heart, and these people have very solid, very high-powered heart chakras. Well, Mother Teresa, we can give another example of the same.
Huge compassion.
Yeah, spiritual. So there is charisma that can be based on the heart chakra. Like, for example, well, as I gave you these examples, these are all valid, all four of these that I just told you about. But in my case, like say, my charisma is based primarily on heart chakra, okay? Because it's humongous, it's just really, really huge. And it supports a lot of everything else. Remember how Rose, we met with us a long, long time ago. That was the early 2000s in a class that was face reading and aura reading, wasn't it? With Rose. And her name was very funny, Rose Tree. And she actually introduced us to, not that we didn't know about these things already, but she was a funny girl, funny teacher, kind of, sort of. But we are grateful to her because through her we actually met. And she was telling me that my heart chakra is too open, she was telling me. That my smile is too big and my heart chakra is too open. Well, it is what it is. My heart chakra is what gets my whole system going and running, but also it gets hurt a lot because of the injustices of the world and many other things, primarily injustices of the world. So I have to heal it constantly, which I know how to do, but because it's so open, I have to take care of it all the time and really, really cleanse it and purify it and heal it all the time, in fact. But I'm unwilling to close it, like Rose was suggesting. Like, she did close her chakra, and as a result, she came across as aloof and heartless.
And not
Remember,
as effective.
we were just not as effective.
Especially with connecting with your clients.
Some people actually disliked her for that reason. And there were even instances. Well, I still respect her for what she is, but she chose to close down her heart chakra. She also is an empath, not as powerful of an empath as myself, but she also taught that. She was also the first person to introduce us to empathic
awakening.
Empathic science, let's just say. And that was the beginning of 2000s, okay? Back to the story, what happens here is that a lot of these people who are spiritual teachers, their charisma, their drive are based on their humongous heart chakras. And that's everybody who I just mentioned previously, they are in this category. But they also run a lot on their power center, their third chakra. That has to be very healthy. Very healthy. So you actually have to see that sun shining through that. If I see a sun shining through third chakra, through the power center, then I know the person has that ability to become quite well known and successful. That's a success chakra, specifically success chakra. So we rounded this up, and then now we are going to go for a moment back to Fidel Castro. And this is your prime example of charisma and drive and everything based on the third chakra, not on first or second, humongous third chakra that shot beams out of himself. Specifically third chakra, that power chakra, so much power in that man. Okay, he was not after wealth, he was not after recognition or cheap thrills, like some presidents, some kings, czars. He was on a mission, so that's charisma based on third chakra. As you see, charisma can reside in multiple chakras, and usually it's shared between chakras, but I can tell you that it starts with second chakra, then third chakra. Fourth chakra charisma is very spiritual, and it can even be a fifth chakra charisma, but fifth chakra charisma alone never works unless you also have at least third chakra seriously on. Okay, so so that's how it's distributed. Any more questions?
So a lot of people were probably curious about sports stars and high-powered Hollywood actors.
That is second chakra. Sports, second chakra all the way, all the time, every time.
As well as money and fame?
Well, money and fame, as I was saying, that's second chakra. That's, remember, for love and money, second chakra will be your love, second chakra will be your money, second chakra will be a lot of this base charisma, which is physical and earth-bound, hence money, because that's earthly riches, in other words. Also, physically All sports stars, huge second chakra. That's why, in fact, they're very attractive, usually. Look at, I'll give you some examples. Look at these former football stars. Again, football, and I mean soccer, not American football, of course, European football. Football stars, present and past, they all have humongous, out of this world second chakras. Women, usually they're very good looking, incidentally, that comes with the territory, and women usually drool over them. And also there are examples of former football stars transitioning very easily into careers in singing and in acting. And I'll give you
Maybe
two
even
examples.
politics.
Well, that's less rare, but I have hold that thought. Ask me that later, because I have one example. You will laugh at this. Actually, I have more than one example of boxers and this like fighting champions transitioning into politics very successfully. It's hilarious, as a matter of fact. But I'll give you examples. Just hold that thought. But back to football, so I don't remember who I mean. There is this Julio Iglesias, very successful. I believe Julio Iglesias.
Yes.
My Spanish and European friends will correct me, I'm sure. A very successful singer from Spain. I actually even have his CD. I used to like his music a lot. He was a football star before he became a worldwide known singer and a singing star and acting star too. Then there is Italian actor of from the times I grew up. In fact, I don't remember, 70s maybe. Celentano. Oh, he's a singer. He's a singer, but also he also was an acting star as well. Adriano Celentano, that's Italian. He was a football star before he became an actor and a very highly powered singer. Also used to like his music when I grew up. He was actually very popular in Russia, in the Soviet Union when I grew up, which was probably 70s, if I'm not mistaken. He was.
So how would you empower your second chakra if it's low?
Well, that we will be discussing in future episodes.
Okay.
And again,
Have more sex?
That too. Well, that's not the only thing, but you always have to honor your inner child. That's why I call it the sweetness of life. There are many other things, and we will be discussing them as we go throughout our future episodes. We really wanted to record this for you as a bonus for our entire HAP program and for our Multidimensional University, because I think you guys deserve to know, to have these extras, these extra bonuses. I thought this was a really nice episode. I want to mention before we complete this about the boxers and politics.
Yeah, clips.
Boxers. So in Russia, we have Nikolai Valuyev, who is a former, I believe he's heavyweight champion in boxing, if I'm not mistaken. I may be a little bit wrong. I know he's heavyweight. He could be some kind of martial arts, but I think he's a boxer, actually. Yeah. And Nikolai Valuyev is now one of the deputies of the Duma, and a very famous one. And people, go Google Nikolai Valuyev and pull up his picture. You will be shocked. He looks like what we think are Neanderthals.
Oh, really?
He has that look of this primordial man with, and people constantly joke that, if he asks to pass the money, like in a shared taxi, there are shared taxis in Russia called minibuses. So there are like 10 people that fit into that minibus. So a joke goes like this. Nikolai Valuyev from the back seat is asking to pass the money, meaning pass the money for the ticket to the driver. Yeah. And everybody in the taxi did to him. That is okay. Well, that's how big he and threatening supposedly he looks. But the guy has the kindest heart, incidentally, and he's very well spoken and very intelligent. People come to him for advice. He's thought out as a speaker and advisor. He's a very good speaker, highly respected as a very balanced and really with good heart. Very charitable, and he's actually terrific as far as lawmaker goes, So that's one example. Remember Muhammad Ali? He was very active politically, wasn't he?
Charismatic.
Well, another boxer right there. And this is the funniest example because who is the mayor of Kiev? Do you know? Klitschko. There are two Klitschko brothers, and about Klitschko, they joke that he cannot string two words together not to get himself in trouble. And there are jokes about how badly he speaks, and examples in Russia. I can't even repeat them because they don't make any sense. He's apparently a poor speaker. But he is a pretty high-powered politician. He's considered not very intelligent, but he is in politics. He's right up there. He has his own party. So that's, strangely enough, boxers and politics.
That's really
Go
interesting.
figure, right?
Would they consider him the Arnold Schwarzenegger of Ukraine?
Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, another heavy lifter, this heavy duty
power lifters,
bodybuilders. Look at this. So politics, where you need a lot of second chakra. So politicians all have humongous second chakras. Okay, sometimes it goes not as much into money as it goes into power, into politics, into acting, into singing, all that, where all this humongous charisma push from the base chakras is required, not from the heart chakra, not even from the solar plexus chakra.
So it's all this is an aspect of creative energy, expressing out.
Absolutely, but I'm stressing again and again, not spiritual energy,
right.
Not spiritually creative energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so say
but
a writer,
earthly
or very earthly, and there's nothing wrong with that. We need all these layers of population. I just need you to understand for yourself, what do you want from life? Obviously, if you are not born like this, you're never going to be like this. Well, all of my followers are a lot more spiritual, so all of your higher chakras are much more developed. Well, you could have base chakras, meaning first, second, and third, your lower chakras, developed well, okay? But your upper chakras would usually be more developed than that, or at least you're striving to develop them better. And we want a balance. You can't be more than you are. Like, for example, if you are not born for your base chakra or for your second chakra to calibrate above 200 or 280, it never will. I mean, if you pay all attention to those base chakras, then you neglect your higher chakras. So everything has to be, okay, somebody started mowing. I just want to finish this episode, so let's go this way. Apologies. So we had to pause the recording for a second because somebody started mowing. And we are going to reiterate, and hopefully my train of thoughts continues without interruption here. We're inside right now. And what I wanted to say is that you have to have a balance, and you also have to honor all aspects of your existence on planet Earth, but at the very same time, do not overdo something. If you are overstressing one chakra over another, you have to have a balance. Develop and heal all of them sequentially, and basically accept the truth. If you're not supposed to be a billionaire or even a millionaire in this life, so be it, because you probably came in for something else, and you probably know this very well. Well, it really depends, okay? Also, there are different stages in your life in which one stage is for this, another stage is to develop something else, and third stage to develop something else, okay? And, you will know what is right for you. Just get into that zone in which you feel, aha, this is me. Now I'm whole, now I'm complete. So this is my advice.
So yes, that's a very good point, because I see some people, they have neuroses, they develop neuroses or addictions, like say sexual addiction or addiction to money or power, because their chakras are not balanced, and they want to so push in that direction where they naturally are not supposed to.
Yes, they're basically sacrificing their soul. They are shattering their wholeness in favor of something that is elusive, that may or may not come. But usually it comes back to haunt you really big time when you are pushing for something that is not yours. And you might even attain it because you wished for it so hard. But if it's not yours, if it's not for you, if it's not exactly what your soul intended, in fact, you are damaging your soul. Instead of developing, you're going down in development, basically. And it's you should know what is right for you and what is not. You might be living out your old karma, which you should release, in fact. There are examples of that, plenty of examples. The price is always paid, and karma is expedited right now. And so those who live contrary to their mission here on Earth, those who disregard that, disrespect their soul contract, their mission, they would usually get that karma that just comes chasing them, sometimes very, very soon, very quickly, and sometimes not very quickly. I have this example of a reality show star in the UK. She is deceased now, but she was famous in the UK. Do not remember her name whatsoever, but she was so 15 minutes of fame, power hungry, that she was going on all shows and she was everywhere, and she won some kind of reality show in the UK, so she became that star. And then she suddenly...
Sounds like the Kardashians.
Yeah, but Kardashians probably came in with that kind of mission, believe it or not. I mean, because they're feeling pretty comfortable in all this. But this young woman, then she suddenly, something happened to her. I forget what kind of disease, which was really bad disease, that happened to her. But I saw her in a wheelchair, and then shortly after she died. And some people, she had a lot of fans in the UK because of those reality show wins. And some people were like, "Oh, we will miss you. You were such a..." Like, she bought her soul, in other words. She did pay with her soul to be in those reality shows. It is a brutal thing to be in those reality shows. You have to bar her soul, bare her soul in order to come across to the audience. That's your charisma. So you overstrain all this. And then it doesn't last very long. Of course, she died. She contracted some kind of major illness. I forget what it was, cancer, leukemia, something, because she was overstretching herself, overdoing it. And not in a good way, because what did she learn through all those shallow experiences? She inspired some other people, but how? How could she inspire? She was a very scandalous personage, in fact. So I don't know what, in fact, was developing there. I cannot tell you anymore. I don't know details. If we have any British listening here, maybe you know. Bottom line, yeah, that's what happens. So we all have to be careful and reasonable about it.
So the whole point of karma and learning lessons is actually to live consciously. Is that part of it?
Learning lessons, yes. The point of karma is if you are refusing to learn your lessons yourself through wisdom. You learn the lesson, you thank the universe for letting you learn this lesson, and you acquire that wisdom. So you grew, you made a step up spiritually, your soul grew, your soul advanced to the next level, maybe graduated to the next major level. And that's how we erase karma. Any sort of lessons can become karma or may not become karma, because if you are taking any lesson that comes, any hardship that comes your way with grace and work through it, and there's no surefire recipe for anything, it's always different. This time is this way, another time that way. Sometimes you may not need or should not engage in any confrontation with anybody and should walk away. And that's the best lesson. And sometimes it's the opposite. You need to engage in that confrontation. Even your whole system is against that, and you need to stand your ground, and you need to teach somebody a lesson, okay? So, and that could be your lesson. So there's no one recipe for everything, for every situation.
We spoke about that. There's no black and white, even in the 3D
it's
world.
more than black and white. It is everybody has their own lessons. If in the past, and again, this is not a recipe for all of us, but a situation, hypothetically speaking, such as somebody has been a bully or has been assertive and always replied, and walk away and learn a lesson through walking away from a confrontation. Well, US could learn this lesson big time right now. Okay, speaking of countries, but that applies to many men who tend to fight.
I believe that's why we have Trump.
Well, Trump could learn a big lesson here, in my opinion, seriously could learn this lesson. Well, he fought all his life. He was always this very confrontational,
but isn't he supposed to direct the U.S. away from all these conflicts?
But look at the conflicts he is developing with all these countries, trade wars.
But that's the dark state.
Well, who is signing all these documents? Dark state or himself? Whose signature is under all these trade wars? They share the responsibility. Well, listen, it doesn't matter who shares the responsibility. We're just giving examples. Incidentally, I am developing... It's going to be either a series of posts, maybe an Urshift report, also serialized, about trade wars the U.S. is conducting against Russia, Turkey, Iran, China, etc. Or even Germany and Europe. So that's going to be a separate series, which will be Earthshift perspective oriented. And that's going to be coming too. So to conclude this, I was just saying that different examples, I'm giving you examples of how, somebody who shied away from conflict all her life may need to sometimes go boldly and just stand the ground when even when everything is saying, oh my God, I really don't want to engage in this confrontation. But sometimes it's actually necessary to learn a certain lesson. Even if you hear in response, ooh, you're a bad person or whatever. And some people would perceive it because their egos are hurt by a response that was required. Well, I'm referring to my recent, I had several recent situations like this, but this is something that was very alien to me. Any sort of confrontation, even a slight one, even a perception of a whiff of a confrontation, just telling somebody, no, you're wrong, or this is not how things should be done, or just pointing out their own fallacy in a comment, in response to a comment. Even that was too much for me to bear. But I sort of had to develop it in the past few years, and especially in the past year. I guess this is one of those lessons to learn. And this will also go away. This lesson learned, thank you very much. Now let's move on.
It's interesting. So that's how ego relates to the lower chakras.
Well, ego is necessary, and fear and ego are very closely related. Fear of confrontation is related to ego, of course. I mean, how will people perceive what I'm saying? Oh my God, what if somebody doesn't say thank you for the lesson that I'm teaching them, but instead decides to bash me? And this can happen, but just gotta roll with the punch. What are you gonna do? I mean,
Good point. Well, that's coming from wisdom.
Yes, absolutely. You've got to take it as, and mistakes also happen. We also make mistakes. We all do. And sometimes a mistaken thing is said to somebody, maybe it shouldn't have been said, maybe. But also learn from that. Lots of lessons to learn. And so I believe this is all for today. We really wanted to share this with you as quickly as we could. And we hope you enjoy it.
Yes, bye everybody.